And what these represent are the syphilis bacteria that are actively fighting the white blood cells that are there. And these tend to be painless as well. And finally, one of the last classic symptoms you'll see with secondary syphilis is this very characteristic skin rash that's referred to as a maculo. So maculo meaning just flat, maculopapular, which means ironically raised. So either a flat or a raised rash. A maculopapular rash that occurs all over the body, as you'll see down here. But one of the things that makes this rash very unique to syphilis is that it'll appear on your palms and even the soles of your feet, which is something that very few diseases can do. Usually rashes will occur elsewhere in the body, all over or anywhere, but not on your palms or your soles. That actually cuts down the differential diagnosis to a few things. And keep in mind, it's not going to be just a single lesion that characterizes this rash. You're going to see a bunch of these occurring on your palms, your soles, your arms, your belly, all over. And this just represents the treponeme spreading to the layers of your skin and the white blood cells that are fighting them. So they're essentially a result of inflammation as well. Alright, so after secondary syphilis, these symptoms will go away and they'll take also about 3 to 6 weeks to heal. And within 2 years of this initial infection, we'll arrive at a stage referred to as early latent syphilis. Early latent syphilis. And when we say that syphilis has become latent, that indicates that we have no symptoms. So there are no symptoms, and I'll abbreviate symptoms as SX. The same holds true for the next stage of syphilis, which is referred to as late latent syphilis. So here too we have no symptoms. But the other differences are that early latent syphilis is more likely to have a relapse of symptoms, so more likely to relapse, but also early latent syphilis is more contagious than late latent syphilis. And these 2 points make sense because early latent syphilis is closer in time to the point when we had our initial infection because it happens within 2 years, whereas late latent syphilis will occur after 2 years. So after 2 years of the initial infection. So if we're at the 2-year and 1-day mark after we've had our initial infection and we don't have symptoms anymore, that means we are in late latent syphilis.
Gonorrhea is a curable sexually transmitted disease caused by bacteria. The bacteria that cause gonorrhea are carried in semen and vaginal fluids. Millions of cases are reported worldwide every year. Sexually active teenagers and young adults have the highest rates of gonorrhea. Some people display no symptoms for several months after becoming infected with gonorrhea. This makes it easy to spread gonorrhea. If left untreated, gonorrhea can cause health complications such as infertility in men and women. Antibiotic medicines are often used to treat gonorrhea. However, treating gonorrhea is becoming more difficult because drug-resistant strains of gonorrhea are increasing around the world. If you have gonorrhea, all of your sexual partners should get tested and then treated, if infected, to prevent the disease from spreading. The best way to avoid gonorrhea is to abstain from sex entirely or have only one sexual partner that has tested negative for gonorrhea. Condoms are effective in reducing the risk of getting gonorrhea, but they are not 100% effective.
If you have HIV, you have an infection that damages your immune system over time and causes AIDS. AIDS stands for Acquired Immunodeficiency Syndrome. It is the final stage of an HIV infection when your immune system is damaged and too weak to fight off ordinary infections. When foreign invaders, such as bacteria and viruses, get into your body, they can cause infections. These events activate your body's defenses. The white blood cells of your immune system are part of your body's defenses. One type of white blood cell, called helper T lymphocytes, or helper T cells, strengthen your immune system's response to infection in two ways. First, helper T cells release chemicals that attract other white blood cells to the site of the infection. These additional white blood cells attack the invading bacteria or virus, as well as other infected cells. Second, helper T cells release chemicals that cause other white blood cells to multiply. These new white blood cells create markers, called antibodies, which can identify the same foreign invader throughout your body. Antibodies attach to the bacteria or virus, marking them as targets for your immune system to destroy them. If you have HIV, it travels through your blood and other body fluids to infect and kill certain white blood cells. The virus enters helper T cells, which are the primary target. Once inside, the virus makes many copies of itself. As these virus particles are made, they leave the damaged helper T cell to infect other cells. The T cell loses its ability to protect the body from the ongoing infection and dies. In this way, HIV spreads and kills more of your helper T cells, weakening your immune system. As a result, other types of infections are able to take advantage of your body's inability to defend itself. These infections are called opportunistic infections. If you have an HIV infection and one or more opportunistic infections, you have AIDS.